This has been kind of polarizing for a lot of Falcons fans, but you know what's crazy? Is sports is like this is just like I've never seen a coaching hire that's gotten unanimous support from any human being. So, but this one I think that is a lot of having to do with like the Shedeur Sanders storylines and stuff like that. I don't know if this is rooted in any kind of football hate from the majority that I see. There are definitely people who don't like it for football reasons as well. Me personally, I like the hire, but here's the thing. And this needs to be said because this could go to any human being that's sitting right now in the particular picture we have Matt sitting up there, Matt Ryan and Stefanski sitting up there. In front of the logos, Mercedes-Benz logo and the Falcons logo. You can put a shadow there of Stefanski. Just go ahead and wipe him out of there and put a question mark there. Because if we don't fix quarterback, this guy is going to be out of here. In another 2 to 3 years, we're going to be looking for another guy. I hope Stefanski didn't take his kids out of school yet or anything. He doesn't need to do anything until he finds a quarterback. Don't lay down any roots in Atlanta until you find a quarterback. Because if you don't find a quarterback, that's why these guys, these storylines, Eugene, sometimes they take on lives of their own. Whether it's the Shedeur storyline, these Brown storyline, they all take on lives of their own. These things don't really matter. This is a win and losses league, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this wins and losses. Mm-hmm. If this guy does not come here, find a QB that's going to win him games consistently because we got problems in Atlanta, and this is a major one. This is one of the reasons that Harbaugh, at least from what I'm hearing, is one of the reasons that Harbaugh didn't give us a look, didn't come here because we don't have our quarterback situation figured out.
Right.
And that will get you fired in the NFL. If you don't have it figured out, unless Stefanski's going to go down there himself, and that's why these coaches, do I like the hire? Yeah. Do I love the hire? I don't love any of these guys because it's about the roster. And if the roster's not together, I am not as like, I would rather be a team like the Ravens and maybe have my Lamar Jackson, but I'm looking for the next John Harbaugh. I'd rather be that team because then if I at least know that the most important position on my team is taken care of, now I can start looking around and see how do I fix things here? How do I kind of start to piece this thing together? In this particular case, we got a coach, a couple coaches of the years. That's nice, man. It's nice. But remember what I told you. If you do not have that quarterback, you're going back to where you came from, bro. You know what I mean? You're going to be going back. Maybe you rent a house in Atlanta so they get one. Maybe you make sure you don't buy. Maybe you kind of figure things out. But how you're going to commute back to where you're from or wherever, maybe you find a better place to live. I don't know. I love Atlanta. Maybe you like it. Maybe you don't. But before you put any kind of serious roots down here in Atlanta, I don't know if he already has them or not. You need to find a quarterback.
Right.
There needs to be a quarterback playing for our team. And I get that we have a Kirk Cousins and Mike Penix. Penix we don't really have because he's going to be injured. Maybe he comes back next year, but if he comes back and gets injured within a down, that wouldn't be something we didn't see coming. We wouldn't be able to say, hey, man, you think every time Anthony Davis gets injured, people say they didn't see that coming? You saw it coming. It's only a matter of time. So if it was to happen, then we trust Penix, we put it back out there, he gets injured again. What are we going to say? It's only, I hope the kid never does again. I hope he goes on to play for 30 years and never gets injured. But come on, man. That just hasn't been the kid's reality. So that's not the reality we're dealing with here in Atlanta. And I do feel like as much as I like the Stefanski hire in the sense, too, that Stefanski was sought after and he chose us. Like he was Stefanski. Sometimes it can be revisionist history. It was kind of like that with Kurt when feeling like we did Kurt. But Kurt chose us. And that was one of the reasons that we were very hyped about the situation because these teams, when they choose you, that means they see something in your organization that's worth it, especially if other organizations are trying to hire that human being. And that was the case with Stefanski. He wasn't low on everybody's list. We got a guy that was sought after in coaching circles, in their coaching search. That being said, though, he could be out of here another 2 to 3 years, in my opinion, if we don't get other things fixed. What's your thought on the Stefanski hire and all this? And kind of like the backlash. There's been some backlash about it.
Yeah. Been backlash not only from just fans, but also, Baker came out and said same things about him. So, I mean, you saw that about it. So, shots fired about him.
100%.
I like it. I mean, he was my second choice, obviously. I mean, John was always going to be my first, but I mean, I
too.
knew John. We all knew John was.
Well, you had the pick of the
We all knew
litter. You're
John,
gonna go to where there's a quarterback there, man, for sure, right?
and I don't blame him. I'm not mad. I'm like, that's where I would. If I'm a free agent coach, I'm gonna go try and find. If I can't go back to my original team where I had Lamar Jackson, I'm gonna go find.
Correct. You got to go find a team that has somebody there, right? So you got that job becomes attracted to you. The Raiders' job becomes attracted to you if you really love Mendoza. The Raiders' job becomes attracted to you,
right?
The jobs that aren't attracted to you are the jobs that have question marks at quarterback because you can end up being fired again. You're relatively soon.
Look how many teams have look how many it's not teams, but coaches candidates have taken your name out of Cleveland. Like how many it's like a revolving door. It's like, nope, I'm not interested in Cleveland.
They say Cleveland's got some kind of personality testing they're doing there, man. They're making people jump through hoops there, and some of these coaches, especially coaches with tenure and experience, are like, no, not doing that.
Right. Like, no, I'm good. I'll be
good.
okay.
Right.
Good.
That's some new coach stuff. That's some new coach is going to jump through those hoops, you know?
Right. So here's the thing, and that's the thing. The last couple of years in Cleveland, he looked miserable. He didn't want to be there. The ownership group is kind of a joke there. I mean, don't get me wrong, we were definitely in the mix to try and get Deshaun Watson. So I don't look at us as being like very smart in the situation, but
correct. Hey, Watson just didn't choose us. We tried, believe me.
Right. So luckily for us, we didn't fall into that. But he's taken teams to playoffs. He's gotten things out of the roster that you wouldn't expect. Cleveland was playing really well down the stretch. I mean, I know the record doesn't show it, but they were in games. There was teams there was early on oh, I'm starting anybody against Cleveland for fantasy, but it got towards the end of the year. I'm like, nope, I'm not going to play anyone against Cleveland because I know they're actually going to show up. But again, you have a great point. We have to figure out the quarterback situation, and the Anthony Davis comp is right. Penix is what he is. We have a medical. We've seen what he was in college. It's carried over in the NFL. I'm not relying on him. I think it's a great story. It's a great story if it happens, right? If he comes back, he plays 10 more years, injury free, fantastic. I don't see it. It hasn't happened. He's in his mid 20s. Not mid 20s, but he's going to be in his mid 20s soon. And you kind of are. Your body is kind of what it is at this point. You don't get healthier. Things start hurting more as you get older. So, I'm with you. We got to figure that part out. And if it's a bridge year, do we bring back Cousins, and then because all the quarterbacks, because next year's the quarterback class, right? When you have Dante Moore going back for Oregon, there's going to be just copious amount of quarterbacks coming out next year, and maybe you can steal one in this year's second in the draft, but I'm
hearing that too from our fan base that have definitely talked to me about this, and I'm hoping it happens. I'm holding out hope for that, because like any other fan, we're in the hope springs eternal portion of the year. Of course, I'm going to hope for everything, and I'm just hoping that somehow the football gods shine down on us and we get a QB somehow in the draft. I'm definitely hoping for that, and I have some friends who are. But I feel like a lot of our eggs are kind of in the basket. There's the free agent there's no free agent. I like Mac Jones, but am I going to build around Mac Jones? I mean, Malik Willis, it has a lot more of an upside to a lot of people, and they would rather take that risk. But I'm not trying to pay a guy that I've only seen be good for a few games. I'm not trying to do that either.
No.
So it's you're not going to pump fake me and to give me a super contract. I've seen you play a few games for 1 year at the level that you've been playing them at. He's been playing at that level with Green Bay recently. Yeah, that's not the way he's always played. So
no.
I would take a flyer on Malik Willis, but I'm not paying you. I'm not going to be when they say, hey, now we got to give you 30, 40 million a year. No, crazy. I don't want to be the dummy that does that. Hopefully that works out for Malik, and it could, but that's a crazy risk. I would not be willing to take that risk. Mac Jones, decent floor, right? But it's kind of like decent floor. He's young, so I don't want to do him. I'm not now. I think with Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, and a lot of these guys, they kind of show you can't just write these guys off. So I'm not going to write them off. But the end of it, because Mac has been to playoffs and he has shown competency, so I can't write him off. And he's a Bama guy. I don't want to. End of the day, though, we're going to need a guy, a signal caller that we have all seen. Let's go and when you look at what these QBs are doing just in this particular round of playoffs and getting to the Super Bowl, some of these quarterbacks, look at what some of these quarterbacks are having to go through to get to this point. Mm-hmm. You saw that throw that Caleb Williams had to make in Chicago. Like these quarterbacks are doing amazing things. They're doing amazing things to get to the point they're at. So it's like if your guy that you have is pedestrian at the position and you know he is, then it kind of is what it is, man. What do you do at this point? If we don't have a QB, he's back out here. What is your over under? How many years?
Oh, I think it could be here long term. I think he, like I said, I think he's a good coach. I think
he signed for 4 or 5, right?
Right. I think I think they always sign for 5.
I just know that sometimes they'll still fire you. Like hit them, the numbers don't seem to matter these days with these owners.
Yeah, it's definitely that's the thing. It's a win now league, and I'm not mad at it. So, that's the thing. It's not like he's coming here. He has a talented roster. That's the thing. You're not coming here with a Cleveland roster. You have a talented roster. You have weapons on both sides of the ball. Now, obviously, you need to figure out the quarterback thing, but you could still win this division.
Still got some skill pieces here, right? And defense showed up last year.
Defense is really good. I mean, we retained our defensive coordinator, which I was very happy about. So that's the one thing he doesn't have to worry about. He just needs to take care of the offense. We need a secondary receiver. That's a big piece. I think that's the one thing, and we need to figure out what we're gonna do with Kyle Pitts. We can bring him back, or is he leaving? But other than that, I mean, and do you run back with Kirk Cousins, or do you? Because let's face it, we're not getting
forced to, man, at this point. Because
you might have to, right? Because
you see what I'm saying. Not unless we get a guy in the draft,
right? Mendoza's your number one. There's no doubt in my mind he's the number one. So then you got out of here. You've got your boy Simpson from Alabama.
I think that's gonna get pushed up now that boy went back to Oregon. I feel like he's gonna get pushed back up now a little bit.
And then you have Carson Beck, who let's face it,
who has done a lot of favors for himself, man. Like he did a lot of favors for himself in that playoff run.
Right. And so there you go. Those are your 3 that are possibly in the first round. And then we're going to be there in second round because we have no first round pick. And so
we need a second round QB to just like, and I don't even know if we're convinced that that's even going to happen right now. We're going to have a lot of draft talk between now and the draft, but it's kind of like, man, are we even convinced that that's even going to be the play at the second round?
Yeah. And that's the thing. And then you have all these, then you have the Senior Bowl happening this right now. So you can talk yourself into one of those guys, maybe. So I don't know. Like you said, it's the one thing we have to figure out. I think we got the coach figured out because at least from ownership side of it, we have a better ownership group than Cleveland. I'm not poo-pooing our last GM. I wasn't mad that he signed Kirk Cousins. I wasn't mad he signed Penix. I love guys that go for it, but it didn't work out. I mean, we respected it. We had two quarterbacks, kind of neither one panned out. But if that swung the other way, we'd been really happy. But now we got to figure out the GM, and that's the one thing we have to worry about. I figure it out now. It's like either we go bridge quarterback this year, and we punt next year. And that'll be the thing. That'll be the thing when we see for quarterbacks. If we bring back Cousins, then we draft a guy like, let's say, second, third, fourth round. That to me is saying we're bridge quarterbacking for next year. We're not getting quarterback serious this year. But for me, that's what I'm gonna look at for the draft and for free agency. But that's I don't want Kyle Murray. I'm going to repeat that until
you stated that in previous shows, and I really
previous
believe
shows.
that you have stated that in previous shows.
He's Mr. October for a reason. We already have one injury-prone quarterback. We don't need another one on our roster, so let's not add him to Michael Penix injury list. At next by
not the Michael Penix. He named the list Michael Penix injury list. Goodness, or is just like is he like the captain of the list right now?
Him and Murray right now are so. But that's the thing I'm going to watch seriously is free agency, the draft, and see where we go for the quarterback.
Just the stats, Reggie Johnson, Eugene Moore. Check us out, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast, as well as YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, see you next time.